In today's video, I'm going to share with you how 2022 Broker of the Year, Geoff Lee, got 58 renewal opportunities, 5 funded deals in 60 minutes. So we're going to share a campaign that I think is really underutilized by Canadian mortgage brokers. The biggest brands in the world are running this campaign, and I first learned it when I was a vice president at Enriched Academy, Canada's largest financial literacy company, for 11 years. And I just saw how effective this campaign was. We've been working with a few mortgage brokers. The results so far have been incredible. I'm excited to share a case study on what Geoff did, how he did it, the different elements of it, and ultimately the results that he achieved short term and what we're planning long term. So you can see here 58 renewal opportunities, no money spent on ads. That's what's huge about this campaign. We're not spending money on ads. Not that ads don't work. I'm going to talk about that a little later, but there's a way to do it. And then 5 funded deals. So I want to share with you a quick video of Geoff. He explains what this campaign is all about and some of the results that he was able to achieve. So let me play that here.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I
at
can
the
hear
end of
you.
the day, like webinar, I think I watched the video. I was actually quite, I think it went off really, really well. Um, I'm working on a live file on it right now. So it pushed was a gentleman that was an existing client, but that video just or that webinar just kind of pushed him to that next step. I'm working on another one. Just got off a discovery call with another individual. So I'm so far so good, in other words. But I also know that the follow-up of this is going to be very, very important. And I know that you sent us, the 60 registrants that.
All right, so that was Geoff just talking a little bit about it, right? Running webinars. And then I'm going to go through exactly how to do it because a lot of you have heard of webinars. You may have seen a couple of your colleagues run them. But from what I've seen in the industry is most mortgage brokers are not doing them properly. And I'm going to share with you all the details that go into making it successful. Here's a report here. So you could see 32 total attendees. Total recording views is 34, and that number increases each day. If you take a look at a quick summary, so you had 58 registrants, 36 attendees. To me, this is a great number. 47 minutes is how long the average attendee spent listening to this individual. And for those of you that study marketing right now, we are at an attention war. It is so hard to grab people's attention. So to be able to get someone to sit for 47 minutes and listen to you is almost impossible, but that's one of the superpowers of a webinar. Okay, so we talked about that. Here's a quick report that shows you the actual results. We had 5 funded deals within 30 days. He actually got another 1 or 2 since then. So it's been about 60 days after the webinar. And so you get a quick, intake. And then there's also a long-term impact because a lot of people's renewals, they're not going to, happen right away and you could nurture them. But now that they just listen to you for 45 minutes, you are ingrained when it comes to mortgage renewals. And there's other topics you could do. Reverse mortgages are really hot right now. First time home buyers, refinancing, debt consolidation, endless amount of topics. So why does this work? There's something happening within society that as a mortgage broker you need to really understand. And I think the mortgage brokers that understand this will win. And as I mentioned before, the biggest brands in the world, including the biggest financial institutions, understand this. And those that get it will win, and those that don't are going to have a really hard time, especially with AI and all the developments that are happening. The reality is right now we are in a trust recession. People don't trust anything. The trust in their neighbors is going down. Trust in media is going down. With AI, if you're scrolling online, it's so hard to see what's real and what's not real these days. Trust in government is going down. Trust in business leaders is going down. This is a war. Whether you know it or not, you are fighting because this is what your clients, Canadians, are sitting at home wondering is who do I trust? Now, I want to share with you a really critical study that I think I'll put the link down below. You should study front and back. I'm going to share with you the key stats from it. It is the Edelman Canadian Trust Study. So let me pull it up right here. If you take a look, there's a couple really important slides. This is 2025, so it's very recent. The first important slide is to see where Canada stands. just from a overall trust level, we are at a 52. All right. So not great, right? Now, blue is trust, whatever color that is neutral, and then red is distrust. So you could see 52 is Canada, and we're just 3 points from distrust. Last year we were 53, so we're actually decreasing. Okay, the other very important slide that I want to show you here is this. Fear that leaders lie to us is at an all-time high amongst Canadians. So when Canadians view government leaders, business leaders, and journalists, their level of trust that is decreasing. This number shows that it's increasing because it's showing you, how much people think that these leaders lie to us. It's increasing. As a mortgage broker, my opinion, you're a business leader. That's the way that people are seeing you. And the level of trust amongst business leader is higher than journalists and reporters. So people don't trust people, yet in the business of mortgages, people do business with people that they trust. So this is kind of a big tug and war that you're kind of facing right now as a mortgage broker. And there's ways to overcome it, which I'm going to share with you throughout the video. Okay, so who do I trust? That is the big question that your clients are asking themselves right now. And the reality is, whether you agree with this or not, banks are winning this question. When banks have done such a good job, whether you like it or not, of building brand and building trust amongst Canadians. They've been around for hundreds of years, longer than all of us, and they invest billions of dollars into their brand because they know the power of trust. And let me show you this. This is RBC's mission statement. RBC's vision is to become the world's most trusted and successful financial institution. Like, why are they using the word trust? Because when you are making these decisions to get people to manage their money, the first thing is, do I trust them? And I want to show you this interview. And it's so important, in my opinion, to study the people that are at the highest levels of your industry to see what they're thinking, to see how they view the world. And these guys have teams, they have research reports. So if we can get some insights from them, it's going to put you in a huge, huge advantage. So let's take a look at this video. I think you're going to find it really fascinating here.
Think about building long-lasting relationships with customers, your relationship with your employees, your relationship with the board. We're in a world of relationships and trust. Like, people do business with people they like and they trust, right? That's the kind of the rules that you and I have lived by and everyone lives by. And therefore, how you build that authentically and sustain that over time is critical. And they made a very strong impression on me.
How do you build that sustainably and authentically? That is the key question that the head of RBC, this is the CEO of RBC, is thinking. And I think as a mortgage broker, you need to look at your business the same way. How do you build trust amongst your audience, your database, your referral partners? That's going to be a key question going forward. And the brokers that are able to build this trust are going to be able to compete. And those that don't, it's going to be very difficult for them long term. Can you actually win this trust war? Well, you can't by outspending them, right? These financial institutions are spending billions of dollars on branding and marketing, but there is a way. And what I want to show you is go back to that same report, because there is a key slide in that report that tells you one of the key answers on how you could position yourself and your business to build trust amongst your database and your peers. So let's go back to that report here. So this is a key slide for all of you to understand. It shows you who are the most trusted people in society. You have scientists as number one, teachers as number two, and then CEOs are all the way at the bottom, right? And a lot of you are CEOs of your business. And so the level of trust is very low when it comes to that. And it continues to decrease. The only ones that are increasing are teachers and scientists. So what does this mean for your business? Well, it means something that you've probably heard before, but I really want to emphasize. And it's that you need to position yourself as an educator to build trust. Those that are educators in society have the highest levels of trust. And that's not something new. It's been around for hundreds of years. So how can you do that as a broker? Well, when you do it, you stand out from your competition, you win more deals, you get more referrals, and you're able to dominate your market over the next 5 years. But how do you actually do it? You've heard this a lot. Be an educator, educate. It sounds great in theory, but it's very vague. It's kind of confusing. So, what does it actually mean? And more importantly, how do you do it in your business in a way that's sustainable and effective? Because all of you are extremely busy. Well, I'm going to share with you the three-part authority system. This is what brokers are doing, top producing brokers are doing to build trust. And I'm going to show you exactly how Geoff Lee used this system to get those 5 funded deals, 30 days running online events. So the first part of the system is the online event or the webinar. It's a very simple concept. The biggest financial institutions are all doing them, yet they're completely misunderstood and misused amongst mortgage brokers, Canadian mortgage brokers. So here's what it is. It is you, your expertise, your database in 1 hour. It's specific topic, whether it's renewals, reverse mortgages, you can invite your realtor partners as well. It's your database is your audience. There is so much opportunity, which I'm going to talk about, on how you can get, you know, a lot of people from your existing database and get new leads from your database. I'm going to show you that a little later. You don't need studio, a production team. You don't need to rent out space. This is online, which is a really big deal. And it's just you teaching Canadians something that they need to know. And really, you're positioned yourself as someone that's providing a lot of value for society. Financial literacy in the country of Canada is non-existent. I mentioned this before. I spent 11 years at Canada's largest financial literacy company, Enriched Academy, and just seeing the level of financial literacy in this country is really, really shocking. Like, the average person in grade 10 knows as much as the average 35-year-old. And most Canadians don't know what amortization means, refinancing. These are all terms that are so confusing to them. So you could put yourself in a position to educate people on these topics. Now, you're probably busy. You're wondering, why would I do this? Three big reasons. Positions you as an educator, and you educate, you build trust. Educators are the most trusted people in society. You build trust at scale. You don't have to spend all this time speaking one-on-one with people. You can spend 1 hour and speak to 100 people at once. And it converts your database into deals. If you set it up properly and have the right follow-up strategy, which is part 3 of this system, you can generate a lot of deals and business from doing this. Step number 2 is filling the room. The last thing that you want to do is put all your time into creating an event and nobody shows up. That's a big fear I have speaking with brokers. What if nobody shows up? Now, speaking to one of our mortgage partners in Calgary, and he said he had someone from his team run an in-person event for nurses, had the realtor partner, had lunch, spent all this time creating this amazing presentation, and nobody showed up. And to me, that is so disheartening. That is one of the worst things that can happen. So how do we avoid this, which is what this section is all about? Now, let me ask you, this is kind of a question for all of you to ask yourself. How do you think Geoff got those 58 registrations? Do you think he got them from social media, from email and text, or from ads? Like, what do you think? And I'm going to reveal the answer. So during my time at Enriched Academy, we were spending about $300,000 a month on webinar ads, and my number one lesson is do not run ads, right? It is one of the fastest ways to lose money, and most of the brokers I speak to that have this idea of running ads, I could tell them right then and there that you will not make money. It is such a difficult game that requires so much detail, and I could go into more information on how to actually work, because at Enriched Academy we made it work, but there was a specific way to make it work. And for brokers, there's also a specific way. It's not like you just throw money at Facebook and they're just going to get you deals. Like, I wish it was that easy. It's not. It requires a lot of attention to detail. And one of the big things I hear a lot speaking with brokers is, I need new leads. And what I like to tell them is, your leads are a lot closer than they appear. They're not outside of you. You're like sitting on gold, right? It's like, imagine you're going to look for gold. Instead of looking out there, what you have to realize is, like, you're sitting on a treasure chest that most people are not fully tapping into. So the opportunity is really in your database. You're just not giving them a reason to engage. If you reach out to your database and say, hey, do you need a mortgage? That's not a very effective way to engage with your database. Running a high value, exclusive educational event on a specific topic is a lot better, right? Like, imagine if I approached you and said, hey, hope you're doing well, Adam. I'm actually hosting my very first event, teaching Canadians on the biggest mistakes they're making with their mortgages. I'm only doing it for 100 people. I wanted to reach out to you to give you a free ticket. Do you know anyone that is interested in attending? To me, that is a lot easier of an ask. It's so valuable, and you're giving instead of asking. And to me, and I know a lot of you listening would agree, give. The more you give, the more you get. And by hosting these educational events, you're really providing a tremendous amount of value for Canadians on a topic that they need to learn about. They need financial literacy. So it's a great service you're doing. So you need to stop marketing to your database and start educating them, right? The pitch will always get ignored, but the invitation gets opened, especially if you position it properly. If you just say, hey, I'm doing an event, Mortgages 101, no one wants to hear about that, right? So there's a way that you position it, there's a way that you add urgency and scarcity, there's a way that you add bonuses to it, and you actually make it a valuable event, not just some like infomercial that no one wants to attend. So here's all that Geoff did: 3 emails and 3 text messages. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to create this elaborate campaign, all Geoff did was send 3 emails, 3 text messages through his CRM. He had 58 registered, 5 deals funded. I think it took him 20 minutes to set up the emails and the text. Of course, we provided the actual emails, the subject lines, everything. So we just had to copy and paste them. But it is not as complicated as you may think. And I want to share with you the sequence. So when do you do this? And we've done 5,000 webinars at Webinar, right? My company is literally named Webinar. We've tested everything. Here are the best kind of sequence that we've seen work well. 1, the first email 10 days out. You want to do an email and an SMS. The email goes out around 6 a.m. and then the SMS 2 hours later at 8 a.m. And that is just the announcement. 3 days before the webinar, that's where the second message goes out. That's email number 2, SMS number 2, and that's a reminder. And then the day of email. Email number 3, SMS number 3, the day of. Believe it or not, the email that gets the most registrations, which one do you think? The day of email. Isn't that crazy? Like, people, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know the science of it, but that one always gets the most amount of registrations. Okay, now continuing to follow up, you heard Geoff say this in his video, follow up. The event does not close deals. The follow up does. I'll give you a perfect example with another client, Adam Bazik. He is the broker owner at Dominion Lending Center's YBM Group in Barrie. We just did a reverse mortgage webinar. He had 75 people register. And if we just ended the event there, he would have had maybe 1 or 2 people reach out to him. But because we had a good follow-up strategy, he had 15 opportunities, like really strong opportunities. That is the power of follow-up. And so let's talk about it. So most brokers do the hard part, but then drop the ball. Right? You put all this time into the presentation, and then you're like, oh, it's done. Send out a thank you email, and then you wait for the phone to ring. And what you have to understand is that trust window closes really quickly because, as I mentioned before, we are in a war of attention. There is so much noise online that as soon as people leave that webinar, they're scrolling, they're getting bombarded with information and problems and advertisements, and they've completely forgotten about you. So every hour that goes on after your event, the level of trust that they have with you just continues to decrease. So we got to capitalize on it. To me, the window is 72 hours. We have 72 hours after the event to capture all that interest and get people to take them on the next step on that journey. Now, the other big thing that you need to do is prioritize leads properly, right? Not every registrant is created equal. You have hot, warm, and cool. So what is someone hot? They attended live and they expressed interest, whether it's in the polls or the survey. or even in the chat box. Like again, the webinar we did with Adam last week on reverse mortgages, he had people in the chat saying, I'm interested. Of course, we're going to call those people and get them on the calendar. Warm is they attended live but didn't respond to the survey. And then cool is someone that registered but did not attend. All of them deserve a call, even the people that are cold, because they still signed up. That shows a level of interest in whatever the topic was. The other big thing is your offer. Your offer makes or breaks this. I touched on this earlier, but if you don't understand this, you could put all the time into the presentation, follow up, emails, and it's going to fall flat. So at the very core of this, there's two offers that you need to make. The first offer is to get them to register for the webinar. You're making people an offer like, hey, I'm doing this event. Would you like to attend? And I'm sure a lot of you as mortgage brokers are getting invited to all these different events. What are the ones that stand out? What are the ones that you say yes to? Some of you say yes to the ones that have free food, right? Others are looking at the value. So you need to think of your event as an offer. And the stronger that offer is, the more people will register. If it's a weak offer with a weak title, not many takeaways, it's not positioned well, no one will show up. So that's number one. Now that they registered, the next step is for them to do a consultation call with you or get on the phone with you to take that next step. That is the second offer. Okay. So if you just do your webinar and say, oh, you know what, if you're interested, reach out to me, you won't get many people to reach out, maybe one or two. However, if you do something like this, hey, guys, for everyone that registered on today's class, we've actually designed a free 30-minute mortgage savings blueprint call. It's an amazing call. It's 30 minutes long, and we're going to help you find tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. It's only available to those that register, and I'm only doing it for 5 people because we put a lot of time and attention into this call, and we want to make sure that you get the most out of it. Like, that is so much more valuable than saying like, oh yeah, like jump on the phone, give me a call whenever. So 2 offers, your webinar offer and then your consultation offer. So I'll leave you with this note here. The future belongs to the mortgage brokers who educate, because education builds trust and people do business with people that they trust. If you believe that, then running an event is something you should seriously consider for your business in the near future. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like or subscribe, and we're going to be doing more. I'm going to do the reverse mortgage webinar that we did with Adam Bazik, do a similar video to this, and show you the details of that. So thanks so much. Have a great day.